Hello, everyone. My guest today is Nick Zeckets. He's a two-time founder, first exited in 2018, now dedicated to product-led growth and in love with the transition of B2B marketing to B2C experiences. He's a Bostonian by way of Georgia and many other places, now building airtrafficcontrol.io. Nick, you ready to take us to the top?
Sure am.
All right. So what is air traffic control?
Yeah, really simply, it makes true human-specific personalization possible in any other piece of software.
Okay. And so what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, by and large, when you think about marketing and what marketing means and why it's hard, a lot of people are leaning into this idea of personalization. And when they say personalization, what they really mean is harder and harder and more demanding versions of segmentation. That just doesn't scale, right? And frankly, marketing has hit the breaking point where account-based marketing, segmentation-based marketing has broken the human barrier, and humans can't make it work any better, and yet the demand to personalize engagement remains. So what we do is we use machine learning to deeply understand the behavior of humans, not clicks and moments spent on web pages, but more importantly, the subject matter that people have engaged with. And then what we're able to do is dynamically and automatically, without anybody at a customer having to set any new rules, but still using the software that they're used to, simply use a new set of things like merge tags or content blocks that will serve up content of any kind to each and every individual human across email, web, chat, anything else in real time that has been chosen for them. The result being better engagement rates, higher conversion rates, etc.
And what are customers paying you on average to use this technology you've built?
Yep. So our model is a consumption-based model. So every time somebody sees something that's been personalized to them, it's 2.5 cents. So for a very small business that maybe has a couple hundred pieces of content and not many monthly visitors or email recipients, it might be 50 to 100 to $200 a month. For a large media business, it could be $100,000 a month.
That's a massive range. What's the
It
sweet
is.
spot? What's the average?
Yeah, for us, we're right in there, right around anywhere between 5 and 10K per month.
Okay, let's just go with 5K per month. I want to paint the picture of this hypothetical customer, someone that's paying you 5K per month. About how many content pieces that are customized are they delivering per month?
Yeah, so it's a really great question. It all depends upon their volume and diversity of their market and the volume and diversity of their own content. But what you're really kind of thinking about is tens of thousands of personalized experiences happening across the course of the month. We do try to inform their content strategy by saying, here's the stuff that's working, the subject matter that's working and not working for you relative to your efforts, to your community, the people who are engaging with that or not. But if an organization has a couple hundred pieces of, say, blog posts or white papers or product descriptions, the permutations could be incredibly voluminous. But you're talking about anywhere between 50 to 100,000, personalized moments a month.
And Nick, when did you found the company? What year?
So we went into R&D a couple of years ago. We were legal about 9 months ago. We started going to market 4 months ago, and 3 months and 30 days ago, we were revenue positive, and we've just been building pipelines since then.
How many customers do you have today?
Right now, we are proof of concepted or more at 8, so
Okay.
not a whole lot.
Well, that's okay. I mean, this is sort of, you're learning, right? You got to get people onboarded.
Yeah.
That being said, though, I am a bit surprised with the range you just gave me on ACVs so early. Usually people try and focus on a specific use case for their first 10, 20, 100 customers. You have people paying you a lot a month and some paying $100 a month.
Oh, no, that's the range of what's possible. We don't have anybody paying us $100 a month. We have no time for that. Everything right now is enterprise, B2B marketing, organizations with at least 500 pieces of content, more than 50,000 people that they're endeavoring to touch a month through web and email. We're predominantly looking to activate web content over email, right? So that outbound activity being personalized to every individual that they're reaching out to. So not dealing with as much real-time effort, which also keeps our technology costs lower.
So just to be clear,
the
the 8 customers paying you today, they're all north of $5,000 a month in revenue.
Yeah, for sure. That's right.
Spend. Got it. So you're north then, can I multiply there? 8 times 5,000, you're 40 grand a month in revenue?
Yeah, you could get projected roughly in that range, sure.
Well, I don't want projected though. Is that where you're at currently? Is that what you did last month?
I think I'll hold back on the total revenue per month at the moment. I'm not sure that we're ready to go live with that.
Okay, I'm just multiplying the numbers you've already given me, right? You said $5,000 was the average ARPU, and you said 8 customers. Why can't I just multiply those?
Sure, if you would like to multiply them, that's fine. The range is pretty diverse, but yes, that is okay.
Okay, is it accurate?
Roughly, sure,
Okay,
yes.
so the reason I bring that out is because that's impressive. If you've gone from nothing to $40,000 a month in revenue in 4 months, I want to learn
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah. Well, so I think it's really important to know where it is that we came from. Last business that we built and we exited in 2018 was a marketing automation platform built on the concept of personalization.
What
Now,
company was that?
it was called Quadrangle. It was built specifically for higher education. The mistake that we made was building all the features on top of a personalization engine. So as we exited that business, we did reasonably well. The issue was, and our recognition was that the intelligence we had underlying our feature set was really the product. And we had made the mistake of building the feature set on top. And as we started to roll out of that, we had a really good sense that a lot of MarTech companies were trying to figure out how to do exactly this, right? How do we deliver personalization? And they were doing it because their customers were asking them to deliver on personalization. And what was happening is the market was basically building, more and more and more tools for tagging your content and for creating more segments and for creating dynamic logic to line content and humans up, but really content and segments was the best that was happening out there. And so the demand is incredibly well understood. And lots of big companies have been marketing the value of personalization, and marketing leadership is convinced that it's real. So we weren't pitching a market that didn't know that this was important. What they didn't know is that personalization and segmentation aren't the same thing. They've been sold as the same thing. They are not. And so as we've walked in and said, hey, we know your pain point is connecting all these dots back in with a ton of logic. But what you really want to do is actually have a machine take over and do the personalization. They all say, oh my God, yes, you're right. Right. And all we have to do to get in is just say, all right, we'll just connect to the tools that you already have. That's not really going to cost you anything. And then as you scale up, right, you'll scale up spend because you'll see the success against the use.
I guess let me ask a different question. With the product feature set you currently have and the initial set of beta users you're working with, do you feel like you can break $1 million in ARR by the end of this year? Does it feel doable?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I have absolutely no doubt that we'll be over $1 million in year one.
Okay, amazing. So 22. Okay, so you get going here 2020. Flesh out the team for me here. Who are you working with? How many people?
Yep. So at the moment there are 3 of us. We suspect, probably by the end of Q2 it'll probably be more like 5 or 6. We just hired somebody yesterday, another developer.
How many developers
We
total?
don't need a lot of people. 2.
2. Okay.
Right. 2 with a hire yesterday.
Yeah.
So pretty lean. But the good news is the API itself is remarkably simple, right? And the integrations, most everything now is OAuth. And that standard has made it a lot easier to kind of be able to connect into the stuff that people are using. So it really simplifies, our go-to-market.
Have you bootstrapped the business or did you raise capital?
100% bootstrapped.
100. Okay. And did you learn? I mean, I think you raised 500 or 600 at the last company. You learn anything from that?
Oh, we raised more than that.
How much did you raise at Quadrangle?
We were at a couple of million by the time all is said and done, in a handful of weird rounds. The reality is, you can get so much further along if you're really smart about product-led growth and really smart about unique, nuanced use cases, right? It's like, could we do 1 million things? Sure. Do we have the ability to scale up and down? Sure. But do we know that B2B marketers who believe that inbound matters, are feeling extreme pain? Absolutely. So we're really focused on a particular subset of the market. And doing that means that we can get to revenue pretty quickly. And frankly, not being in higher ed anymore, higher ed is really averse to kind of paying for you to get to product. And the corporate space says, look, I could see the demo. I know that it'll work for us,
I
but
mean,
we
I think
don't
the
have
challenge
the
you're going to run into is the same thing you heard in the Snowflake IPO when Frank Slootman was walking through their usage-based billing, which is you have instances where people scale up their usage so much the bill they get is shocking. You could see a scenario where someone installs your thing and all of a sudden their bill is 30 grand a month and they're going, oh my gosh, this is valuable, but it's not 30 grand. It's not worth 30 grand a month. I can't pay this consumption model anymore.
Yeah. So, I think there's a couple of things that are at play there, and I think it's a really fair point. One, I would actually argue that that puts a mandate on vendors like air traffic control to be exceedingly clear on what our value is, right? And as a result of being connected to all of the customer systems like CRM, like all their conversion pages, forms, email conversion rates, all that type of stuff, what ends up happening is we can actually talk about whether or not people who are being exposed to personalized content are more or less likely to turn into customers, right? And understanding ACV and opportunity amounts and things like that, we can quantify the value of personalization because we are part of their commercial complex, right? I think one of the problems that happens with consumption models in other businesses is that, yeah, hey, this is a shortcut to, say, build a product, right? And Twilio has a really hard time saying, hey, when you build stuff on top of all this is how much money we've made you. Maybe not. We are not unsure, because in order for us to work, we have to be tapped into all of that data, because that's what tells us who somebody is and what they care about. And that comes along with that revenue productivity. And we can see basically by looking at our performance and the customer's prior performance without personalization what the impact is. So, yeah, right. At a certain point, I start to spend over my skis a little bit. And I'm sure at some point, some people are going to ask us for, sort of flat rate or an annual spend, and it'll look more like SaaS or whatever it may be. But I think the mandate when it comes to consumption model businesses, and this hasn't been happening, and you saw it in Snowflake, it's a really astute observation, is that it's sometimes really tough to tie back to every time that happens, whether I'm making money. But the Stripes of the world haven't had that problem.
Well, that's because
Right?
that is making that is directly making money. It's obviously attributable.
Sure, sure. And so it's on us to get as close to attributable as humanly possible, right? And
Yeah, but
we
you're
can
not
get
going to be
pretty
payment.
darn close.
You're not going to build a payment processor.
No, of course not. Of course not. But I can say that when we do what we do, that revenues are impacted in positive ways. Now, it might turn out that a year down the road, we might find that there are unique instances where, depending upon the customer type or whatever it is, 2.5 cents isn't actually what we're worth. We had another customer say, well, every time that I actually get a form filled out or I do get a conversion, I actually would like to pay you 30, 40 times more than that.
Well, yeah, because it's
But I
tied to
only want to pay you
conversion.
on something further down. Yeah, exactly
Totally.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So, and so that might be what happens. We might get a buck every time a form gets filled out. Who knows?
Yep.
Right.
Very good. Well,
We're open.
we're out of time, Nick. We need to wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, favorite business book.
Oh, God. Anything by Nir Eyal, really. That
Number
guy's
two, is
amazing.
there a CEO you're following or studying?
That's a wonderful question. Uh, no, I can't say that there's anybody that I'm watching right now. I do like this guy is running a place called Modern Campus named Brian Kivy. He's super sharp and bringing some big businesses together. I like what he's doing.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building air traffic control besides your own?
Oh boy, I'm deeply in love right now with Built With. It helps us a ton with targeting, and it's super inexpensive, and their data is really unique.
Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
I try to get 7 or 8. Right,
Okay.
this idea, this work porn thing is it's not sustainable.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
Kids, married, house, burbs, the whole thing.
How many
Yeah, I'm old.
kids?
3.
Three. And how old are you?
I'm 41 as of Monday.
41. Hey, happy late birthday. What's something you wish? What's
Thanks.
something you wish you knew when you were 20?
Oh God, it's a long list, but ask more questions, have less opinions.
Guys, he sold his first company, learned a lot, raised a bunch of VC, now bootstrapping airtrafficcontrol.io, helping brands customize content to deliver it up to inbound leads to ideally increase the likelihood that they end up converting. Again, he's bootstrapped a team of 3 or 4 right now. Got his first 8 customers signed up, paying anywhere between $1,000 and $10,000 a month as he looks to scale and really figure out what that pricing is going to look like. Nick, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thank you very much.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.